There we go. I think we are ready. You all can hear me, right? Great. Let's do a quick review of the last lesson. That's lesson 4. So in lesson 4, we went through the installation on Linux, installation of MySQL server. Only a few commands to run. So if you ever try those steps on Linux and run into any issue, you can always email me. Maybe we can set up a small meeting. I can help you out. And we spend a lot of time on the Windows because most of us use Windows. And yeah, it's a very wordy steps, but actually, if you really run it, and it's not that bad. Um, oh, so Ethan said, I didn't know what Linux thing to install. There were so many choices. I believe you meaning the downloads, right? Um, let's see if we can clarify a little bit here. Uh, do you know what kind of Linux you are using? Mostly the Red Hat Linux, probably. Um, let's see. Yeah, if we click this link, uh, I think oh Debian, uh, Debian. I hope on Debian you have access to Yum. Uh, let me see. Let me see. Type up. If not Yum, then RPM, right? Let's say the methods installation. Of course, the Yum is more straightforward, and also RPM. The others I'm not that familiar with. Uh, yeah, try Yum first. If you do Yum, um, yeah, most Linux support a Yum command. What you need to do is first is to download the package. Let's see, platform version specific package name. What you need to download? Here's the link. Yeah, you need to download the Yum repository. Let me see what repository we got there. I think if you download actually the first one, that's the latest version. The 7.6 older, that's the same thing. And Fedora 3 is not that common. Oops, I'm in my basement. My water heater is running, but I hope it's okay. So yeah, probably just download this one, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8. Well, this is MySQL, of course. The MySQL for that environment, and see if that works. Um, yeah, just try that. You are going to have this file on your machine, on your Linux machine. Just click a download. When you have that file, then you do the next step. That's going to be, let me go back. Come on. Yeah, after you download that, and then just install that package, that RPM file. And after that, then you just um, do this to actually um, uh, that's install. Oh no, that's not right. Install. Go. Oh, there's skip that one. We're using Yum, then just do the skip this step two. Just go to the 3, or actually 4. Just do this step. Install that. Just sudo yum install, and then just MySQL community server. Just that. Don't change anything. because it knows where to get that thing because you install the package into the repository first in step one. So step one is download and install that. Download that's required, and this install this package into the YAM repository that's also required. Okay, and then you jump to step four. Just do that. It should work, and then you can just start the server using that thing. Okay, try that and see if that works. And yeah. Okay, let's see. Uh, yeah, for Windows we did that, and if you watch the recording, if you miss, if you need to review. So then eventually we have the server running. We connect to this server, and then we went to the /SQL, the SQL mode, and then we created a database, and we added a table to that test database. Okay. Yeah, the create database, just simple create database, and then create table, just create that table, and we will learn more about this create table syntax here. Today we are going to go back to the SQL and learn MySQL insert into. Um, what does insert into do? It is used to insert new records into a table or new rows. Okay, that's why I call it insert. Um, so there are two ways to insert. One way is in the statement you specify both the columns and the values you want to add. The syntax is insert into a table, table name, and parentheses you list you list all the columns, right? All the columns, not all, but whatever columns you want to populate. Then you list values, the keyword called values, and then list all the values. They should match, the value one match column one, value two match two. If they mismatch, you may get the record created, but incorrectly. That's one way. Another way is to just specify the column names. No, the values. Specify only column names, value to all. That's a syntax error. Specify only value. Let me fix that now before I forget. That's a syntax. Said specify if adding value to all columns. Not not specify columns if add values to all columns, which means if you want to add a value to all columns, right? All columns, then you don't have to list all the columns. You just need to list all the values. But again, you have to remember the value one match column one, value two match column two, and so on. Yeah, that's in that order. Yes, it says here, make sure the order of the values is in the same order as the columns in the table. Yeah, that's a difference. We want to run some example. Well, let's look at the W3 school examples. This demo database. We know that customers database here, and if we want to add a record, we probably want to add a custom name, contact name, address, city, postcode, country. So pretty much we list all the columns. But the one missing, that's custom ID. Custom ID we don't list because custom ID is a special columns. Later we will know it. So if you don't include that, it will, when you add a new record, it will add a customer ID for you automatically and in a controlled way. That means you don't pick the ID because you don't know what ID you want to use. And also you don't want user to pick a random ID. So that's why you don't specify the customer ID. And the customer ID is automatically uh, generated by the software, by the MySQL server. So that one is special. But if you list that, you get a new record. For example, here, get a record 92. That's automatically add one to the previous one, used one. And then you have the new record. That's the insert. Oh, it says customer ID is an auto increment field and will be generated automatically when a new record is inserted into the table. And if you just you can specify the columns, not all columns. Yeah, well, we know we specify columns here, but we specify all the columns but the customer ID. But you can also just specify, many less columns. You just specify the customer name, city, country. You don't specify contact name, postcode, and if you don't do that, it's still okay. You can create a record, but we will get no, no, no. That means you got no value for that field. No, we will look at the no in more detail in a minute. So no means you didn't populate anything to it. You didn't give a space or empty string or zero. You just didn't do anything. That's why it's called a null. All right, and that's that. See, this one doesn't allow us to try because this this database is being shared by many users. It doesn't allow you know us to add a new record to it. So you just show, okay, this example, you can this kind of that exercise, not the try it we used to be able to do. So what I am going to do is use our own database to try it. Remember, we install the database server on the Windows, and we create a new database and a table. That's called the persons table. Let's see if we can add a record there. All right. Um, to do that, first we want to start up that server and then connect to this server, at least those steps. Because after you install this server, you may shut down your machine, you may have stop your server, then how do you know, start up that server again, that MySQL server again, how to connect to it. And here are the steps. The first one is you go to your Windows machine, find the services, that's probably under the control panel, and find the service called MySQL 80, and then click Start. Let's go there. I think this is a good way to find services. Services. Yep. See services. Oh, that's the desktop apps. And you see all these servers. This is all these the software running on your machine, and a bunch of them. Well, I'm using a Windows server. It may look different from your PC, but I hope they are pretty much similar. Let's look for our service, MySQL service. Scroll down. Where's my MySQL? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's MySQL. Um, oh, say status is running. That means it's running. So yeah, it's running, and I'm ready. It's ready to serve. But just in case, if you don't need it, you can always come to services, find MySQL, say, hey, I'm not going to use it. Don't waste my CPU memory. I'm going to stop this service. So it says it's stopped. And the start type is manual. That means if you need it, then you start up. If you don't need it, you stop it. they when you reboot the machine, this service is doesn't get started up automatically. That's because when we installed this software, we chose to not start automatically. Okay, so it said the startup type is a manual. Manual means we have to manually come here and start it. Since it's already stopped and the status black means not running, then we highlight this service and then click start the service. Click start, then it start up the server. Right. Then you can do the stop, pause, restart, and so on. But so we know it's running. We don't need these services anymore. Um, we can now you can just run that MySQL shell. Remember when we install thing, we install the MySQL shell here. It's just a command session. So it's there, and let's connect to this server. Connect to the root. And localhost means this machine, not a remote. If you specify IP, it may point to a different host. The localhost is just okay, my machine, and type that, and is connected. And then we switch to the SQL mode, so we can run the SQL statements. So now it's in SQL. And in the SQL, now we can run some commands. Show data basis. Okay. There, our friend testDB. We have to say use testDB. We created uppercase DB, but it's insensitive, so this is same. Use DB. Now we are inside this testDB. Now show me all the tables. Yeah, there's our table. Persons. Describe. We create a table with forgot with this, right? You can see that okay, they fill int, character, varchar. We didn't say anything else, and turn out if we don't see anything, the default is no, 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 no. That means all the fields are nullable. Nullable means you don't need to add any value to those columns when you create new record. You can just add a record just last name, leave all the others null, or you can just add a city. So obviously that's not that useful, right? If you just populate a field city or just like a first name, then that's a very incomplete record, and all the rest of the fields of that record are null. So that's like a very incomplete record, not that useful. But in reality, for practical use, we actually want to create a table like last name, first name not null means not nullable. When you create a new record, you at minimum you need to provide last name, first name. All right, and also we define the person ID instead of just int. You can pick your own ID, populate it. We can say, hey, auto increment means use a counter, whatever. Count start from 1, and then next record is 2, next record is 3, and so on. Every new record you add 1 to the previous. Then that's called auto increment, and in that way is unique. And primary key means we will learn that later. Every table need a key. If you don't have a key, then you may have duplicate rows, right? You don't want to store duplicate rows or records in your table. So we learn that all later. But for now, let's see. We have that table. Let's insert a record to it. Again, we pick our own person ID. Let's see if we can do that. Let me, no, copy here, go that screen, let me paste here. Oh, I can paste, good. Okay, it's inserted. Let's select persons. There we go. So yeah, we insert into table persons, and with values, we pick our ID 1001, Steve John, 123 Main Street, New York. Yeah, that's our record. Look at that. Okay, that's one way to do it. So you know we just provide all the values, not list all columns. But can we do this? We just provide three values. Okay. Paste. Yeah, that's fine too. So because this table is very, very basic, doesn't have any rules to validate the input records. So let's select again. Now we got second record. We just provide last name, first name, and the city, and the address, person ID, or no. So this is a useless record because we don't even have an ID for that record. So it's very loose. Now, next thing is what we want to do is let's make this table better. So let's recreate that table. Okay. To do that, first we can drop the table. That means this table is useless. I'm going to drop it. Drop it means delete it, get rid of it. And then I'm going to recreate the table with some rules, like auto increment the person ID, make that as a key, and last and first not knowable means they are required fields, and leave the address city knowable. That's possible. New customer just provide name and not sure about this address yet. That's fine. So that's the idea. So let's do that. So let's copy that thing so we don't have to type, but in order to recreate it, let's see if we can recreate it. Come on. Control V, double thing. I guess because it got multiple lines, it doesn't like it. Let me see. Do that. Let's see. Errors while installing MySQL. Oh, Ethan. I think yeah. Let's try the installation maybe after the lesson. No, don't do that now. Cause yeah, just for now, just yeah. Focus on the class for now. Let's see. I try to copy this in here. Let me copy and paste. Hmm? Oh, yeah, it doesn't like the comma. I guess just too many lines. Cannot be. Edit, paste. Hell, heck. Let me see. I paste somewhere else. Let me paste to the chat window. See, I can paste there. No. So it's not copied. Copy that. Oh, okay. This is copied. Let me try one more time. Paste. Better. Okay, let's. Oh. Something wrong, something wrong, something wrong. How to. That's just too many. Okay, finally. Oh, it crashed. Let me reopen it. We saw that message. It finally took the create table statement and it said the table exists. We know we just did that on purpose. So again, connect. Let me quickly connect root localhost. Ew. This is contention one. No such host local. Oh, okay. SQL use test db show tables and we want to recreate that table. Let's try that one more time. Pasting. Yeah, says this table already exists. So yeah, we need to drop table persons. Now table is gone. Now let's try that one more time. Pasting. Boom. Okay, now it's there. Now if we select persons, yeah, it's empty because we just created. If we want to describe it, you see the different structure. Person ID, yeah, it's auto increment. It's a key. It's not a null, not a null, not null, and address city can be null, can have null, but the default value, that's right. The default means, yeah, if you don't provide any value, default is null. Um, but since they are not nullable, so if you don't provide value, you get error. So let's try here. Um, yeah, let's try this one. Since we provide let me see, got WeChat. Let me see if someone from our class, hopefully not. No, that's good. Wait, where is our principal? Okay, all right, fine, that's fine. No worry, no worry. Okay, so since we provide the first name, last name, and we should be able to create this record. Let me copy that one more time. So now pasting. Oh, that's Control V. Fine. Yeah, got it in. Select. See, we got see the person ID is one, and first name, last name, city. That's totally fine. Um, and we didn't pick the ID. It's automatically, it's auto generated. It's by the software. It starts with one. If we try it again, it will, have ID two. Yeah, let's do a Control V. Control V doesn't work. So let's say paste, insert again. It's insert. Now we have a second row. See, now the person ID is two. Yeah, we didn't control that. It's controlled by the thing. Um, how about the nullable? Since last name, first name not a nullable, let's try ignore it. See what happens. Um, let me see if I can edit the. Oh, yeah, I can edit. So let's not provide. Let's see, first name. Delete first name. Delete first name. And here said, I just give you first name, last name, don't give you first name. It should complain. So that, hey, you know, first name cannot be null because it's not null. It's not null. Both last and first name not null. Now let's do it null. Let's ignore it. See what happens. Hit return. Field first name doesn't have a default value. Yeah, because it's not nullable, and we leave default as null. That's a conflict. You give it a null as default, and in the meantime, it said you cannot use null. Then that's why I said you don't have a valid. It actually means you don't have a valid default value, a non-null default value. And yeah, and that's how the table, configuration control the thing. Um, Let me do a quick check on, okay, who show up later. Okay, say, oh, good. All right, cool. Let's see. That's either into statement. Let's talk about the no. Since no is really funny thing. Um, so what is a no? We kind of already know it, right? A field with a no value is a field with no value. Yeah, so no value is a no, actually. Um, if a field in a table is optional, that means it's not required, like the one we saw on like city or address and the city. If that means the optional, when you create a new record, you don't need to provide any value for those. That's called optional. Then you can just insert a new record without adding any value to them, to the knowable fields or columns. Okay, that's called null. And a null value is different from a zero value or a field that contains spaces. So spaces actually is a string. It's not a null. If you enter zero, that zero is a value, so it's not a null. Null basically is like a no value, nothing, blank. You didn't touch it. When you create a new record or update record, you don't provide anything for a field. Then that field will have a null value. And how to test null value? For example, when you select something and want to say, is this field null? Is this field equal to null or not equal to null? Actually, you cannot do that. You cannot use a comparison operator like equal or less than or not equal. Those operators don't work with null value. The way to check that, to check if a field is null or not null, actually you just use the words like is null, is not null. The syntax is I select something from a table and I want to check if a column has a null value equal to null. Then instead of use equal sign, you say column name is null. If you want to check if a field is not null, you say column name is not null. So use the English words instead of using the equal sign or to compare. For example, in the customer table, that not our table, you want to say is address null. It's like this is useful. Someone will ask, hey, can you please generate a report and see how many of our customers don't provide a address. So then you just run this statement. Say, okay, select all the customers, and if the address is null, I want to see them who have address missing. So let's try. Just run it. Well, the thing is, in you know, in the in real useful database, if that's important, and very likely it's not, it's not a null, it should contain something. So that's why when you say address is null, no, we got zero record. Okay, but maybe we can use our database, yeah. Select something from our person table where address is null, and we should see, yeah, yeah, we find some. Yeah, address null, null, two records. Both records got a null address. And of course, address null, null, then got zero. Empty set means zero because we have no record that contains address, valid address. Maybe we can try something else. The last name. Let's say where last name is not null. Yeah, we match them. And last name not null. Right, we got a couple records as well. Okay. That's that. Oh, they're not null. Yeah, we'll try their example. From customers address not null. Bah, we got all 91 of them. That means this table, got 91 records, and every record has a valid address. Yeah, that's cool. And the last thing is, update. What does update do? The update statement is used to modify the existing records in a table. So this is related to insert into, but insert into that means you don't have that record yet. You just add a record to the table. Now you say, I want to modify that record. Let's say you add a new customer to the table, and then you got a new phone number, new address, new city, and and so on. Then you can just delete that record and then reinsert, but then you got a new customer ID. See, because the customer ID is automatically generated. So if you delete and then reinsert, then you have a different customer ID. That's not a good idea. So the best way to handle this is just use the same record with that same customer ID, then you just update the fields you want to change. So the syntax is update, table name, set, then set column 1 equal to 1 and 1, column 2 equal to 2. You don't have to update all the records. You just need to update the one you want to update. Let's say you want to update address. You say update table set address equal to whatever new value. And comma, if you at the same time you want to update city name. So city equal to new value and so on. Um, if you just have one field to update, then you don't need a comma. Just say update table set the field or column name equal to the new value or the value, and that's it. And then, the where condition, this is very important. When you update a table, always make sure your where clause works. If your where clause doesn't work, it will very likely update the whole table or update all the records. That may that's very dangerous. You know, if you don't have where clause, you just update table, set address equal to something, or set city to New York, then all the customers in that table will have address or city of New York. So you basically destroy the whole table. So that's why this is very important when you use update. So please note, if you omit the where clause, all records in the table will be updated. So just be careful. There are those to have a backup. Good question, Ethan. Yes. When you destroy a table, then you have to, yeah. Well, you have to talk to your DBA called a database administrator. Um, you have to talk to them. uh, how to say that? Very, very friendly way of begging them. Please, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I destroyed the table. Um, Can you restore the table from backup? Yeah, DB said fine, I can do that. But your manager may say, hey, now what? Now, since the last backup till now, then we lost all the changes. Let's see because the backup you back up once a day, twice a day, or even once every hour. You don't back up constantly. Then yeah, between the last backup or latest available backup and now till when you make the mistake, all the changes will be disappear or gone. So so that's why this is something in the IT world or the software people normally feel nervous about. Like yeah, I did something stupid and then we lost data and then yeah. That's why people working in New York on the Wall Street, they are, stressful because this kind of thing. If they make mistake, then there'll be something. Of course, there are other ways to minimize this loss or damage. Like they do constant, uh, yeah, they do the constant backup, or they do like archive logs, like they archive every transactions. So when something happened, you can replay those transactions and repopulate the database since the last backup. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to minimize, but of course that's costly, right? That's costly. Good question. No way to do the yeah, the undo the change means um, well, in the Oracle, depending on the database, the MySQL, you don't have the option to undo it. I think in the Oracle, that's a much bigger database system. I think yes, you can do something before you commit it, then you can undo it. But if you say commit it, basically confirm it. You do something and then the system asks you, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do it? You say, yeah, commit it, and then too late. If you commit it, then yeah, you cannot undo it anymore. But anyway, um, yeah, the more you learn about this thing, the more you will know. But as a beginner, just know the basics. That's enough. Let's do an example here. Since we cannot update a record from the W3 schools, we can always do our own database, right? Let's see. Update person address, blah, blah, person ID. Yeah. So whatever the first person's address is, now we got a new address. We say 556 Main Street. Let me copy it here. Oh, that address is no, fine. That's fine. Not change. Yeah, we need to add address. So now it's Control V. Doesn't work, of course. Control V doesn't work. We use paste. So what we are doing is person ID. We don't want to update all the records. We just want to update the first record with the address of 456 Main Street. And here return. Now select back. And we don't select everything. Now it's there. So it's updated from null to 456 Main Street. And for the second person, nothing changed. We didn't touch it. If we drop the where, then both will be updated. Let's try that. Paste. If we drop this where, just a semicolon is that like ending of the statements. Let's do that. Now say query two rows affected. That means you updated two records or two rows. Now if you select everything, now you can see even the second one got updated. That's because um, we didn't use a where clause. Let's see. Oh, good timing. Good timing. What time now? I don't see. Oh, okay. Good timing. So that's it. And yeah, you can update more than one record. If for example, if the person both got city from New York, you want to change their city name to a different one. Well, New York lowercase. For some reason, New York with space is incorrect. You want to say New York, no space, lowercase y. Assume that's what you want. Fine, you can go there and then pick all the persons or customers from New York and update their city. So that's a syntax. All right, I think it's good time to stop here. If you have any questions, now it's good time to ask.